But some of the strategies we use are things that not many other people do. But I thought I would share just in general the 5 things that can help you if you have a kid who's getting ready for college, or you know somebody in your family who's getting ready to go to college, how to make it more affordable. So let's talk about it. First of all, a reality check. These are the costs of some colleges around the country that you know. Princeton, this is Notre Dame in the middle, and this is New York University. The average public university in this country costs almost $20,000 a year. Vanderbilt falls right in here, $65,000 a year, and UT Knoxville, in case you're curious, is now $27,000 a year per student. It's a public university. No, it's actually the total cost of tuition. So, secret number 1, the college list. 30% of freshmen move home at the end of their freshman year for a couple different reasons. Foremost among them is they picked the wrong school. They went there because their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their mom and dad went there, or it's a team that they like to watch football on Saturdays, but they had no idea that it was a really bad school for them because they simply picked the wrong school. So the number 1 way to keep the cost of college down is don't pick the wrong school. You pick the wrong school, it's going to cost your family, in the case of UT Knoxville, $27,000 for that 1-year mistake that you made. And so avoiding that mistake is very, very important. So what do? Our students visit 10 colleges on campus. They apply to 7, and they end up falling in love with 5. Because the last thing you want is your kid to fall in love with one school, right, and then not get in. Well, we have our kids fall in love with a bunch of different schools and make it a hard choice for them. So what we say with the college list is your kid has to go to a big school in a big city, a big school in a small city, a small school in a small city, a big school out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, all different kinds of schools and all different shapes and sizes, because they're not going to know unless they go there. I'll give you a real good example. My daughter, who is an Ole Miss, she went and visited Rhodes College in Memphis. She spent 5 minutes on campus and said, "Get me out of here. This is not the school for me. I hate this school. Let's just go. I'm not even talking to the counselor. Just get out of here." My son, who was 1 year younger than her, stepped on the Rhodes campus and said, "Oh my God, this is awesome. This is where I need to be." You never know unless you actually visit. She thought she really, really loved Rhodes, but she didn't. And it was because of the college visit. So, factors: the size, the location, the major. If you pick UT Knoxville and you want to be a marine biologist, it's probably not the school for you. You probably need to be close to a school that's near the ocean, probably. So, I mean, it really does matter, the location, the size, and all that stuff. There are certain schools that we call gold schools, which means they give lots of money. Which means you have a $50,000 a year school in this state that gives lots and lots of money. And you have a $50,000 a year school in this state, same size, same camp, same looking campus, same type of majors, and they give nothing because everybody wants to go there, right? And so it really does matter which school you pick. Number 2, ACT grades and resume. We have automatic scholarships versus merit-based. Automatic. This GPA, this ACT, this scholarship. There's no arguing, there's no applying, it's just that this is what you got, this is what you get. Then there's merit-based, where you have to compete for them, and there's all sorts of factors. That helps keep the cost of college down. A few GPA points or ACT points can be big money. I'll give you a real simple example. Everybody knows where Mississippi State is, right? Public university in Mississippi. If you get a 21 on your ACT, they're going to give you $1.5 thousand in scholarship per year. If you get a 22 on your ACT, they'll give you $5,000 more, which over a 4-year period is $20,000 worth of money for one ACT point. So
Wow.
ACT points matter, GPA matters. It's really, really important. We use what we call trend sheets. If you're going to work with an ACT company, instead of making your kid take the same ACT test over and over and over again to try to boost their score, why not have them take the test and then look at the actual content of the actual questions and find out the content that they missed? If they're having trouble with the Pythagorean theorem, but they got everything else in math, why study everything else? Why not just study the Pythagorean theorem to make sure they get it? So that's what we do with our ACT prep, is we help students increase their ACT points, and that's one of the ways we do it. We have what we call separators. If your kid has a 25 ACT and a 3.5 GPA, and he's standing next to another kid who has a 3.5 GPA and a 25 ACT, and they're trying to get into the same school, what is the reason for that school to pick your kid? Maybe there's not any reason. Maybe the kids look exactly the same, except that this kid over here started his own nonprofit in high school and helped raise money for a homeless organization in town. Maybe that's what makes him different. So what we do is we help kids develop a separator that separates them from other kids who are just like them. So that's another way to reduce the cost of college. Number 3, Need-based aid. Has anybody ever filled out a FAFSA form? Federal form? It's an absolute nightmare. We find that 90% of parents fill out wrong. The FAFSA now comes out in October, and some institutions have an additional thing you have to do called the CSS profile. So the FAFSA is the federal aid. The CSS profile is the institution aid. Both of those are very, very important because that determines how much comes out of your pocket, right? There's all sorts of mistakes people make. 90% of parents fill it out wrong. As a financial advisor, what I can tell you is many, many parents do zero preparation leading up to college. They have no idea that if their kid has money in a savings account because they had a summer job and they worked really hard, like my kid did, and had 3 summer jobs and saved thousands of dollars in a savings account, that money counted against him for college. It's just the way that it is. There's all sorts of little things like that that people don't realize, that when you fill out the FAFSA, if you fill it out wrong or you don't properly prepare, you're going to end up paying thousands of dollars out of your pocket that you don't need to. Secret number 4, special scholarships. These are very, very unpredictable. The dance, music, art, sports, really, really high academics, ROTC scholarships. This is another way that you can keep the cost of college down, but you have to know about it. You have to know where to go. Let me give you a really good example. My son wanted to go to Rhodes. We said, okay, it costs $56,000 a year to go to Rhodes. And he comes to me and says he wants to go to Rhodes. And I'm having a heart attack. And so I said, okay, well, we got to do some stuff if you really want to go to this school. You have to be willing to do some things. And so he got some academic scholarships. He runs on the track team, but he needed just a little bit more. We didn't know what to do because I was going to be like $5,000, $6,000 a year extra out of my pocket. So we discovered a music scholarship at Rhodes for non-music majors. And all he had to do was go sing for him. So he went and sang for him, and they gave him a $5,000 a year scholarship, which is $20,000 over 4 years. Had we not gone to the website and looked at this, nobody at Rhodes told us about this. Why? Because if they tell you about it and you get it, they have to give it to you, right? Which means, if we had not found out about that, we would have had to pay Rhodes $5,000 more per year out of the pocket, which they would not have minded, right? They would not have minded that. So this is another way, and the last way to keep the cost of college down is the most unpredictable, and this is local scholarships. The Rotary Club, the Farm Bureau Scholarship, the Coca-Cola Scholarship, which is a national scholarship, Best Buy, all these large companies. There's a foundation here in Middle Tennessee called the Scarlet Family Foundation. This is one of the guys that founded Tractor Supply. They give away thousands of dollars a year in scholarships. You wouldn't know that unless you work with somebody like me or somebody who's a college planner who knows about this. How about the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee? They give access to hundreds and hundreds of scholarships for everything. If your parent works at Dollar General, there's a special scholarship that only you can get if your parent works at Dollar General. There's all sorts of scholarships just like that. They're very, very unpredictable, really, really hard. So what's the biggest difference that you can make for your kid or your relative going to college? Get the college list right up front. Figure out how much it's going to cost you, and don't wait until the spring of their senior year to figure it out. You got to start when they're sophomores and when they're freshmen to try to figure out which one they want to go to. So the college list and the FAFSA, the federal forms and the financial aid forms, you got to make sure you fill those out right. And then you got to apply to every single scholarship you can get your hands on, because you never know when it's going to happen. So this is the 5 secrets of making college more affordable. Any questions at all?
Do you spend?
Sorry.
Yes.
Thank you. Do you spend any time, Steve, researching churches? Because, for example, my church has a college scholarship. So the last 8 years or so, they've given out about $100,000 in scholarship money to college grant.
We go everywhere. We look under every rock. We look around every corner. We absolutely wear Google out because that's a great way to find scholarships, right? But you never know unless you actually apply to them, and some of those they don't advertise. So what we do is when we work with a family, we say, tell us every single organization you're involved in. Your church, your philanthropic organization, the insurance company you use, the financial advisor that you, we want to know everything about them so that we can dig into every aspect of their life to try to find all those fingers of contacts that they have out there. It's very, very important. Somebody had a question over here?
Does the same thing apply to graduate schools?
There are very few graduate school scholarships. We don't help graduate students. We don't help parents who are going back to school. We work with freshmen through seniors in high school. Those are the kids we can make the biggest difference with. And once a kid gets into college, there's not really much we can do for them either. We do have kids that come back to us in their sophomore and junior year and say, I lost my scholarship. Can you help me find something else? And we'll try to help them find something. But as a general rule, we don't work with kids unless they're freshmen to seniors in high school. Any other questions about the 5 secrets?
And you advise them when, for example, they get the Holt Scholarship or something like that, that they need to maintain their grades?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We work with them through the first semester of their freshman year in college. After that, they're pretty much on their own. But we help them pick out their courses they need to take to make sure they don't take too many hard ones, because you don't want to lose your scholarship the first semester, right? Because your britches are too big and you want to take physics and all these really, really hard classes. You don't have to take them. Why? Right? So college can be more affordable. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. I have 30 seconds left.
Out of curiosity, do you advise them to choose a major as a freshman or not to choose a major as a freshman?
Not to choose a major as a freshman. Unless it's a specialized program where you have to decide up front for an engineering program or architecture program, something like that. You don't have to do that, because almost every college, your freshman year, is all the general stuff, and then you can figure it out later. The important part is getting in, right? Thank you very much, Lori.